So we've already looked at what I carry when I carry just my shoulder bag. Let's look at what I carry when I have the option of carrying my backpack. When I go on board an airplane, I use my carry bag, my shoulder bag, as my one personal item, and I use a think tank backpack as my main carry-on item. I would love to have wheels, but I can't stand giving up the interior space that the wheel assembly takes away from the bag, so I continue to lug around a backpack. And in the backpack, I like the way this is laid out. It has room for some AA batteries, some cables, and some other small accessories in the top. In the large backpack is a larger camera solution. Now this could be one of a number of the new Cinema EOS style camcorders. These are the latest generation of video cameras from Canon. This happens to be a C100. This new Cine series uses an APS-C size sensor. That's kind of like the sensor in the 70D, the 7D, all the APS-C style cameras, but it is of course video optimized sensor. It's not the exact same sensor. This little C100 is about 80% of the C300, which is smaller than the C500. You can start with this little guy and work your way up to the 4K C500, and the form factor will look similar. But this is the smallest one, and one of the reasons why it's so small is because it actually has the LCD built into the back of the camera rather than on top on an accessory like it is on the C300 and C500. This little guy is sitting on IDC System 1. This is a camera adaptation for follow focus. Again, the IDC friction-based follow focus, but in this case, the base unit, the rail, rather than using 15mm rods, this is designed to be an automatic quick release plate in Gitzo, Manfrotto, and Sockler style tripods. That's sort of the industry standard 501 plate style, and this goes directly in as a quick release plate and is impeccably balanced. You can mount the camera anywhere within the fluid head on this base and it will be perfectly balanced. This guy can be stripped down. You can take off the handle, you can take off the follow focus, you can get it down to just the body and the lens, and it's not too heavy to work on a Merlin 2 Steadicam. That's astonishing to me. Once you get it stripped down, it's only a few ounces heavier than a 5D Mark III. This one comes out of the backpack with the EFS 17-55 f2.8 image stabilized lens. Now this is not L glass. This is not as dust resistant as an L series lens, but this guy is equivalent of about a 28mm to a 90mm on a full frame censored camera. f2.8 image stabilized. That's awesome. You can't normally find something like that. Now the advantage of using one of these over an SLR for filmmaking is the fact that it is now more of a traditional camcorder design, and that means audio is a lot easier. I can put on this top underslung handle, plug this unit in, and now I have a module that is XLR ready. I can plug in two XLRs. I've got the dials to adjust it manually. I can go auto or manual. It does have microphones built in, stereo microphones built in as well, but now that's another addition that makes this camera very usable. And since I can accommodate a professional level mic, that's exactly what I have in the case. In this example, I'm using a Sennheiser Shorty, and it's got the short air sock, what's known as the dead kitten, that absorbs errant wind gusts and keeps the wind noise to a minimum. I prefer the shortest shotgun I can get away with because I often use wide-angle lenses and I don't want to photograph the shotgun mic. Cable adaptation as well. I like to go hardwired on my audio whenever possible. I carry 25 feet of XLR cord. Much better to get the microphone close to your subject. Not necessarily always a good thing to get the camera right up to the subject. If you're only using an on-camera microphone, you do have to get the camera very close in order to get good quality sound. But here, in an extra wool sock, and it's stuck in there nice and soundly today, is a little accessory that I carry with me, and that is an old tabletop tripod, a vintage Leica tabletop tripod that I found in a camera store, an old brick and mortar camera store. And with this guy, I can take the shotgun off of the camera with my longer cord, I can plug this guy into my little cold shoe that's mounted on top, and I can take this guy over and sit it next to the subject on the ground, aimed toward my subject, and with my long XLR extension cord, I can move back to a camera position that allows me to use a more flattering lens. That guy is very helpful. You don't have to go with the vintage Leica tabletop tripod. I just happen to have one. But that will go a long way toward allowing you to use a longer focal length lens. Here's my money lens, a 70-200 f2.8 image stabilized Canon L glass. This is the Series 2. Stunningly beautiful. My go-to lens on many occasions. And besides my fast 17-55 and my 70-200, I also have a 17-40 f4. This is a little bit shorter. It doesn't have the range of the 17-55 at 17-40, but this one is weather resistant. It's a red striped L glass, and that means it's got a lot of weather resistance to it. Rated for monsoon level downpours. When I'm working with external filters, and these cameras have an advantage over the SLRs in that they do have built-in neutral density filters. This guy has a matte box adaptation, and this little matte box will allow me to use grads. A graduated neutral density allows me to bring some neutral density into the top of the frame and reduce the brightness of a sky without reducing the brightness of what's going on the ground plane. So there's a very nicely dressed out little C100. Let's see what else I've got in the mix here. I also have this lovely little accessory that was recently introduced by Zacuto, and it is set up to be slid onto the LCD, and this gives me a loop that will eliminate the stray bright light that is such a problem for bright light shooting situations. It's got a couple little mini bungees that hold it in place, so now there we have a really nifty setup. The LCD still works through its trajectory. The extra weight of the magnifying loop does not cause any problems for it. That is a filmmaking machine. And last but not least, lots of hard drives for data backup. I keep my portable drives in the Nomad cases. These are O-ring sealed, so it's dust, shock, and water resistant. This completes my large bag package. In conjunction with my small camera bag, I can go anywhere and shoot anything, and I always bring home the goods.